Hi, it's me, Mr. Zo. Welcome back to our online class, and today I will be teaching you about modal verb and imperative. Okay, don't get confused just yet. Actually, we have learned about this last time, but I'm not sure whether you remember it or not. So, we'll discuss modal verb. Here on the board, I have written affirmative and negative. Okay, affirmative is equal positive, basically. It's a positive sentence. And then negative is the negative one, the one that you know. Okay, so the pattern. Let's talk about the pattern first. In modal verb, the affirmative, we will use this, which we call the subject. Okay, the subject will be followed by the word must and followed again by the verb, which is the base form of the verb. Later on, I will explain to you why. Why do we use the base form? Okay? And then move on to the negative ones. It's basically similar, except after the word must, you have to add the word not. So it sounds must not. Or you can make it short by using the contractions and then say mustn't. Okay? So that's basically the pattern. Now let's move on to the example. Example number one. We have here, you must play nicely. Okay, see how it basically copied the patterns. The first one we have the subject in the beginning, and then followed by the word must. Okay, and then the next one is the verb, the base form verb. Okay, and then this one is the adjective. But it's okay, you don't have to pay attention to that for now. Just this. There's the first three: subject, must, and then the base form verb. Now, why? Why do I say base form before? If you look at the next example, the second one, she must study hard. Normally, you would say that she studies hard, you know, because the subject is she. Normally, you would add s or es. In this case, because we're using the base form, you will not change. You will not change the verb at all. So you will say she must study hard. Okay, that's what I meant by base form before. Now let's look at the negative example. The first one we have here, you mustn't talk. Okay, here, look at the pattern. Subject, mustn't, and then the verb, the base form verb. You mustn't talk. The next one, she mustn't play game. Notice how we didn't say plays instead, even though we are using she. Normally you said she plays game, but now you just say play, even though the subject is she. So the answer is she mustn't play game. Okay, so that's all about the modal verb must. Now we're going to move on to the imperative. Other than using the modal verb must, you can also use imperative when you're trying to give orders, command, or advice. Okay, so in this one you will have a specific rules pretty different from the modal verb. In imperative, you don't really use the subject. Okay, you can omit the subject, you don't use it at all. The example is already here. Actually, we can just look at it directly. Okay, so in the first sentence you see you must play nicely. Okay, that is the modal verb. Now, because in imperative we don't use the subject, you will remove the word you, and now it becomes play nicely. Okay, look at this. Play nicely. From the word you must play nicely, in imperative, okay, where we omit the subject, it turns into play nicely. The second one we have, she must study hard. Become study hard. That's the first rule. That's the first rules of imperative. Okay. The second one, this one here. So before I said that you don't really use the word must anymore. Instead, you will replace it with the word do or don't. Most of the time, you will say this when you are face directly in front of the person. So you talk person to person with them. Most of the time, you will use the imperative. Okay, now let's look at the example for the negative one of imperative using the sentence that we have made before, right here. You mustn't talk. Okay, and then in imperative it turns into don't talk. You see? Subject, it's gone. And then the word must, it's gone. Instead, we replace all of this with the word don't. Don't talk. And then the second one is the same. She mustn't play game. She. The word she and the word mustn't is basically gone. And then you replace them with the word don't. Don't play game. Because we don't have any subject reference in this example, or in any other sentences, basically, we will always use don't and not doesn't. So just pay attention to that. Okay, that's why we only use don't, but not doesn't, even though both of them are the same verb, technically. So other than that, this is how we implement the imperative in some orders. Example of orders when you're inside a class and then your teacher said something to you. For example, your teacher said, hey, don't play your phone in the classroom. You see? She didn't say, or your teacher, she or he didn't say your name. Instead, they just said, don't. Don't play phone in the classroom. They didn't say, you don't play phone in the classroom. Instead, the teacher said, don't play phone in the classroom. That's the example of orders. And the second one, you have the command. Command when someone asks you to do something or they tell you to do something. For example, when you come into your friend's house and then you met their parents and then their parents said something to you, a command. Their parents said, don't wear your shoes inside the bathroom. Okay, notice how the parents said don't wear. Okay, or she could also say, you, here this one, you mustn't wear your shoes in the bathroom. So both of these works well. It's just some other times you will prefer to use imperative because it is shorter. Okay, now I want you to take out your class book. I'm sorry, your textbook, because we only have one book. And then open page 51. Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit about what you're going to do on page 51. Okay, done? Good. Now look at page 51. Next to it, you will have this bunch of explanations. You can read all of them by yourself. If later on you get confused or you don't know what this is or what is that, okay, make sure to read it again in that case. Okay, now on page 51 we have our first exercise. There are in total of 8 pictures here. Now there's an example, actually number 1, I will read it for you. You must do the dishes. Okay? And then the instruction says, write sentences using you must, followed by the expression from inside the box. Okay, number 1 is example. Look at the picture, what are they doing? Okay, the girl on the left, she was holding a plate and then she was holding a sponge, you know. See, that is doing the dishes. That's why the answer goes, you must do the dishes. Okay? Don't forget, for all of these pictures later on, you have to use the word you must before you write down the expression. Okay, let's look at the box and then look at the next expression. We have tidy your room. Look at the pictures. Which one is tidying the room? Is it picture number 2? No, because they are washing their car. Is it picture number 3? Are they tidying their room? No, they are studying. Okay, so it's your job later to find out which one is the picture of these 2 girls tidying up their room. And then after you found the pictures, write down the sentence that begins with you must and then the expression, which is tidy your room. So you say, you must tidy your room. Okay? That's basically all. So you'll be repeating that again until you finish or until you use up all the expressions. Now move on to the next page, 52. Okay, on page 52, on the top you will see the explanation about this here. Okay, then again you can read it again in case you forget about it or in case you want to learn more. Okay, but we're going to skip that and move on to exercise 2. Complete the table. Okay, now look at the first row. You have 4 different columns here. Okay, which has different topic as well. The first column begins with must. The second one mustn't. The third one imperative. The fourth one is negative imperative. Don't forget about the rules that I told you before, okay? In those must and mustn't, simply put that word in your sentence. But in imperative, use do or don't, and also remove the subject. You can look at the example from number 1, the second row. Number 1, the verb, it's come. Okay, and then the word must. Subject followed by must. In this case, all the subjects will be you, so you will use you for all of this. Number 1, come, and then must, in the second column, you say you must come. Subject must, the base form. And then mustn't, pretty similar, but you add the word not after the word must. And then imperative, you omit the subject and then just write on the verb, which is come. But when you say it, it's actually pretty different, you know, like come instead of come. And the next one is negative imperative. That's when we use don't. Don't come. And then number 2, you have the word stay. Okay, do the same thing again and then use this pattern to make the sentence using this time a different verb, stay. So you will say you must stay. Okay, you must not or you mustn't stay, and so on. Okay, keep repeating that until you finish the last verb, which is go. After you finish the whole thing, we are going to move on to the last one, actually the second last one, on page 53. Okay, on exercise 3, you will have a picture. It's actually a notice, okay? And then the instruction says, write sentences using you must or you mustn't. There are about 7 instructions here on the list. And what you need to do, basically rewrite those lists, okay, using the word you and must. The example is already there. Number 1, don't feed the animals. Okay, it uses the imperative here. Don't feed the animal. So you change that from imperative to modal verb must. So you say you must not, you must not feed the animal because it's negative. Number 2, we have don't drop the litter. Okay, and then you change that, you add the subject again, you say you, which one? Positive or negative? Okay, we follow the imperative. So the imperative say don't, so we use the negative one. So we're going to say you must not drop litter. Okay, so on to number 7. Okay, after you finish, now we move on to the last one, exercise 4. So in exercise 4, there is a big picture here with some verbs, a list of verbs that is already being provided for you. It's pretty similar to the one before. You will use the word you must and you mustn't to make a sentence using those verbs. Okay, except this time you have to choose your own verb and the expression. Okay, before the list is already being provided for you, so it's pretty easy, I guess. But for this one, you need to look at the picture. For example, picture number 1. What is the boy currently doing? Is he sitting on the bench? Is he dropping the litter? Is he petting the dog? Okay, but for number 1, this one is, since it's an example, I will just say it directly. I will just read it for you. Number 1 says, you mustn't climb the trees. Okay, look at the picture. It's a boy climbing the trees. I mean, are we allowed to climb the trees? Well, normally in a park or basically anywhere, it's pretty dangerous, right? That's why we don't climb the trees. So in that case, you say, you mustn't climb the trees. But if you think the activity is something that you need to do, then you can use the positive one. So you could say, you must. For example, here we have number 4. They were playing together. Okay, and then you can say, you must play together with your friend. Okay, I hope you understand the whole thing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope I will see you again on the next lesson. Bye bye.